Yo! What's up, guys? I just want to go over quickly today. I've gotten a lot of emails. A couple proteins that I support have been tested, so to speak, and the protein came out low. And I think there's a big misunderstanding on lab tests. Now, I will say, for the record, that it does nothing but help me when other companies' protein gets tested, because, MTS Nutrition, I put the lab test on the site, and mine weren't tested to come out bad. Sorry about the kids screaming in the background. It sounds like a TMW video for a second here. Anyway, let me go over some reasons why a lab test can come out with different values, why you might see some trusted companies that I've tested and gotten different results. I can't mention who I've tested, but I have gotten some brands tested, and I know who's good and who's bad, and I will never tell you because I get my ass sued. Let me go over something. There's this dude on a message board that posted a Google document about, listing a whole bunch of brands and what their lab test was. First of all, it's a Google spreadsheet. I don't know if he posted it later on, but I have yet to see actual documented lab analyses from these. Second is the samples were actually sent by consumers. They were open bottles, and the chain of custody was broken. So unless you ordered an unopened container from, let's say, tigerfitness.com and sent it straight to the lab and had no interaction with it whatsoever, that would be torn up in court. I don't know if Homeboy's getting sued or what. I don't know what's going on, but the fact that they were open containers does, people mess with stuff, dude. It can happen. And I'm not, we don't even know these people's names who sent them in. We have board handles. I'm not saying that it's not right. It's not whatever. I'm just saying that there are proteins mentioned in that report that I've tested and they came out fine. Plus minus 10%, which is the range we have to go to. I'll get into why that is important later on. Another reason lab analyses might not be completely accurate when you send shit off to your lab by yourself is different types of analyses. There's UV, there's HPLC. For example, certain compounds you test with UV, certain compounds you test with HPLC. For protein, you can use LECO. That's an analyses type. There's other types of ways to do it as well. Carbohydrate testing. They don't usually test for carbohydrates. They test for fat and protein, and carbohydrate is usually by difference. You with me here? Good. Another thing would be blend size. This is why I usually say go for a larger company, one you trust. Now, our blend size for my company is pretty damn large. Large enough to be like, holy crap, that's large. But think about it. If you were to mix up 10 grams of powder, it would be less uniform if you were to split it up into 20 servings as if you did 100,000 grams of powder. There's more stuff to move around, more places to go. But there's still going to be areas where you might have 22 versus 23 grams of protein because a slight variance. You can blend that shit all day, all night. Bottom line is there'll still be a slight variance in the blend. So what you need to look for, honestly, is companies you trust, companies you stand behind, because you can do all the independent lab analyses in the world. I can actually prove something to you, but I won't. I could take a random product and send it to 3 different labs. I'll send it to Covance, I'll send it to AACL, the dude's up in Illinois, my boy Charlie. And I can send it to ABC in California. All right? I guarantee you they'll all be plus minus 10% off. Nobody's going to be exactly the same. Why? Different test analyses, different standards, and also different dudes reading the actual analysis itself. So what you look for in a company, honestly. NSF GMP certification. One thing you know is it's tested going in. It's part of the rules. Okay? Next thing you know is tested going out, especially if they use an outsourced plant. If you have NSF is a lot of paperwork, and I've seen an NSF audit. You're looking at 7 to 10 days of the FDA being all up in your dish, making sure that you're GMP, making sure that you're following those GMPs. And you've seen people. You've seen who is that? The crealkaline people, AAEFX. They got popped. You saw even Gaspari. All they did was they had slight incongruencies with their adverse event reports, which means if someone emails me, they could be anything from my head fell off to I have a headache to my penis shrunk. Okay, so they had a slight indifference with what the rules say, which, by the way, the GMP book, I took a picture of this, posted on Facebook once. It's this friggin' thick. So it's just like the tax code. You could easily screw up on a little bit. So what you need to do is look for a company you trust. And you need to look for some kind of a GMP certification. At least don't mention it. And then that's really the best you can do. You got to put some trust in the companies. And at the end of the day, you know, the GMP's passed, and that's a good thing. But I've got this video out with me and Gaspari, you know, doing our thing. I'm talking good about the company. And well, on this test that some dude sent in. And that's why I had to kind of dispel this, because I see this all the time. And the bottom line is that it's not really that simple, guys. You can't just send something off to a lab. And I wish it could be. I wish we could validate things and give you that peace of mind. But that's why I always say go with the company you trust, go with people you trust, and go with people who take their own product. And you might say take their own product. Oh, Mark, that's because you lift. You don't have to lift to make a product. I get it. But I have more vested interest if I'm drinking that whey 4 times a day, my brand, and then someone else who's just a fat fuck who doesn't even take his own products. No offense to fat fucks, but that's just how it is. So, that's all I got to say about that. Don't take the word for it. And again, if this dude just sent... Also, you're looking at, you know, $40 to $100 per test. He's testing, what, 20 products? Putting that much investment to be a good bro on the message boards? If he does, more power to him. I'm just saying that all the companies in there, you know, I wouldn't buy it. Marc Lobliner, TigerFitness.com. Peace out.